Hey, this is Professor Homa. Welcome to part 2 of WD06A, the committee report. We're redoing the committee report, and the last thing we did is put the header and footer on this document, and now we're going to be working on page 2, which is roughly step 14 on the directions. And to get out of my header and footer, I'm going to double click in the regular page area. And this first paragraph here has a first line indent, which we don't need. It's not a book, it's not a novel. Again, we don't need the first line indent. We're going to go to our paragraph settings. We could have just used the arrow up here, but we're going to go to our paragraph settings and just remove the first line indent by hitting none. I'll hit OK. And then we'll go down to the next line where it has this goals in all caps, bold italic. We'll get rid of the underline, we'll get rid of the italic, and then we're going to change the case. And we're going to do that by going up here to the big A, little a, and doing the change case button. And I'm going to put it in sentence case so it's more readable. And then we'll make it 18 point. And then I'm also, instead of using this return, I'm going to get rid of this return, whether you do it now or later. I'm going to get rid of the return and go to my paragraph settings and put space after of 12. Make sure you uncheck this area and hit OK. OK, and that creates the division. And then I'm also going to move my indent out just maybe a 1/4 inch, just so it sits out just a little bit. So it's about a 1/4 inch from the edge. So I'm going to adjust that indent just a little bit. And then I'm going to get rid of goal 1. Because if this is goals, we don't need a goal 1. We could just number our first goal. So we're going to get rid of these two things here, these two paragraphs. And we're going to give this a numbering. So I'm going to just click on the numbering right here and just turn it on. And you can see it indents right away. Just hit the decrease indent to move it back out 1. And that's fine. That should be all that we need here. And what we're going to do is make this a style so that when we use it for other goals, we don't have to reformat this again. So remember, to make a style, just have your cursor in here, go to this button to open up the styles, and just hit the new style button down here. And I'm going to call it 6A, and I'll call it numbered goals. And I'll hit OK. And now I have a style for this formatting. Okay, and then I'll leave the return here after. That's okay. This next thing we're going to do is we're going to go to where it has strategies. And we're going to get rid of the underline because underlines don't really look nice. So we'll get rid of that. And we'll just make it italic. That'll be fine. And what we'll do with this is I think we'll also put a space after of like 6 point. So we'll go up here and put a space after of 6 point. Create that space. So we don't need this return here either. So I'm going to get rid of that. So now we have this space after. I'm going to make this a style. So I'm going to click in here, hit the new style button, and I'll call that 6A strategies. And I'll hit OK. And now I have a style for that. I have a style for my goal. And then also here's this bullet list, which I'll highlight. And I'll make it a real bullet list because it's not. It just has dashes in here. So I'll click on bullet list. I'll make it a bullet list. I'll even hit the decrease indent to make it come out a little. Although it doesn't look bad the way it is. Maybe we'll just leave it the way it is. It actually doesn't look too bad because now it lines up actually with the goal. So I'm going to leave it the way it is and just backspace and get rid of the dashes. And then like our other bullet list, what I'm also going to do is give it a space before so that there's some separation between these bullet items. And I'll do that by going up to paragraph and giving it a 6 before, making sure this is unchecked, this area here. And that looks nice. And then what I'm going to do is make this a style. I'll hit the new style button and I'll call it 6A bullet list. And now I have my 3 styles for my rest of my document, which should make it a little bit easier. So what's going to happen here is we're going to get rid of goals and the extra return, and I'm going to put this in my numbered goal style. And it makes it 2. And if we needed to put a line break to fix this, that's fine, but that's good right now. There's our second goal that we have here. Same thing with strategies. I'll click on strategies, put it in the strategy style, and get rid of the extra return because we don't need that. And then also the bullet list, we're going to highlight the bullet list and we're going to put it in bullet list. And we'll leave it the way it is because that lines up with the other one, but we'll just get rid of the dashes that are in here. And there's going to be some little errors you'll find in here occasionally, like just for example, faculty administration, no need for a space in there. when there's a slash, there shouldn't be a space. So we'll get rid of that. Here's even some areas where there's extra spaces in here where we only need one. So you'll find some of that throughout this document. Again, here we have a page 3. We don't need any of this stuff. I'm going to leave one return after the bullet list, but we don't need any of this stuff. And I'm just going to delete it. And this is actually our third goal. So I'm going to click in here and just click on numbered goals, and that'll make it goal number 3. I'll make this one strategy style and get rid of the extra return. And then I'll fix this bullet list. Now this thing is going to continue on the next page. You can see there's a bunch of errors in here we're going to need to fix. So I won't go through every one, but I will put it in bullet list, and I will get rid of the dashes where necessary. But some of these things, there's extra returns in there that need to get removed, which is why they're breaking them into separate bullets. Let me close up this or move the styles. I'll try to use the styles up here next time so I don't have to have that on screen. But to get rid of this, I'm just going to backspace so it goes back and gets rid of the return. I don't need that there. Also, there's some extra spaces in here. I'm not sure why they're here. And probably this return doesn't need to be here either. So let me get rid of the spaces first, and then I'll get rid of the return. And this should go to the next line. There's still an extra return here, which I don't need, so let me delete it. And I'm going to make sure I put this in the bullet style if it doesn't stay in the bullet style. Same thing here. On this last page here, you can see it's breaking things. You got to just keep backspacing. Now, this is a problem here. I don't want this extra bullet here is moving to the third page. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm just going to go here and do a page break and break goal number 3 to the third page, because you can see it's already going to go to the third page. And there's not a lot here, so we're going to break this third goal over there. So I'm just going to go insert page break so that goes to the next page, and then I'll just do the same thing here. Now we're almost done. We're going to finish this up. Now I want an extra return in here, so let me put that back. Now if it ever does that, if you ever put a return in here, it makes a bullet, just turn off the bullet, and then you could just have a return that's acting as a space. So I'm going to put this in numbered goals. That should be number 4. This should be in strategies. And there's an extra tab in there for some reason, which I'll remove. And there's an extra return here, which I'll remove. And this stuff should just go in the bullet list, and you can see there's stuff to fix here because there's a bunch of extra tabs and spaces and all kinds of stuff in here. This needs to be backspaced. I mean, all this stuff is really, I think there's only 2 bullets here. And then needs should just go back to the bullet above. I'll put a space in there, and there's all these extra returns here that we can get rid of. We don't need, and I think that's pretty much it. I think we have it look nice just by making 3 styles, just by making a style for the bullet list, the goals, and if you ever wanted to go back and make this look a little nicer, you could go back and right click on number goals, and I'm going to do modify, and maybe just put a little more space. You'd have to go down to format paragraph when you go to modify the style, and I'm going to put a little more. I'm going to put like 12 points before each goal, so that'll be like extra space in there, and that'll bump these down so that there's a little more space between the goals. And if you want it more, you could add more. But so far, I think that's good. I think what we have is we have a kind of a nicer looking document here right from the beginning. We have a header footer, we have a nicer looking heading, we got rid of the indents, our bullet lists look pretty good, they're nice and organized, we don't have things breaking on the wrong lines. Our goals, they state our goals, we have our numbered goals, we have strategies, everything kind of follows nicely, we don't have too many headings here, and we tried to fix as many things as we could. This is what a professional committee report should look like. It shouldn't look like what it looked like when we first opened it up.